in the crossfire.
So we are going to show how to fix a Samsung washing machine, a Samsung EcoBubble, that has the problem of stopping in the middle of the program, where you can still see the drum is trying to move, but for some reason or another it does not start to turn anymore, and the program just stops after a few tries. Apparently this is a very common problem with this washing machine. There's posts all over the internet about this thing, and it should be related to a faulty motherboard or a faulty processing programming unit. And we're gonna try to fix it together with you. So to get to that motherboard, the first thing you do is, and we already did some of the work, so that's why this is gonna go very fast. We did not start filming yet until after removing some of the parts yet. But there's two screws, one here, can you see on the video, one here, and the other one here, that you just remove, and that will allow you to remove the top of the washing machine. Then it looks like so. And this white box is where it's at. This is what we want to get. You start by taking off the cover. Now again, this is already loosened. It was a bit of a trouble to get it off, but basically you should push. There's these two little hooks on the underside of the box that hook into here, and if you push those hooks, you can take this off easily. Same on this side. You have that off. Then this white box is attached with 4 screws. Actually, on my model, apparently Samsung ran out of screws because we only had 3 screws, one here, and one here. Normally a 4th is there. And then you just have to disconnect all the wires. These two here, one here, here, this piece here, and finally this black one here. That allows you to completely remove the wiring. If your box is loose, you just slide it out like this. And that's what we need. This is the culprit. So now we're gonna try and open this thing up from the underside. We just cut with, I believe you call this a multi-tool or something in English, along the edges of the underside of the box. As you can see, it melts. It's really dusty and dirty. I believe that's all very normal. Now, I wanted to show you the underside of this thing. And as you can see, it is kind of glued to the motherboard. But that's all very normal, and that's as expected. As you can see, there is a kind of gel covering the motherboard, which is what we're going to remove now. As if I understand correctly, this gel is there to make sure that the motherboard does not get damaged by the vibrations of the washing machine. So now we're going to spend some time in cutting away this layer of gel, of silicone, I believe it is, and then we'll show you where to solder this print plate. So we removed the gel that was covering the print plate. You can see there's this kind of material. Now it's completely cleared, and I am no expert on this, but apparently all these kind of soldered points are bad, and so we have to do them again. So you will need your soldering kit and some new tins to work with, and basically, thank you my dear, basically we are going to redo all and reheat the contacts so that they become liquid again, and then where necessary add a little bit of this soldering tin. And As far as I understand, after reading about it, it's like 80% of all the contacts should be done again. So I think the rule should be, when in doubt, do it, because you don't want to dismantle the whole machine again after finding out that it's still not working. So let's do it thoroughly. So we have, I have soldered all the contacts. Well, all of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Resoldered them by, for those who don't know, you just take your soldering iron, heat up the point you want to resolder, then make the soldering liquid again, and if necessary you add a little bit, but of course just a bit of new solder. For the small contacts, I found that it was okay to just liquefy them again, and you could see them settle better over the contacts. And yeah, so that's what you do. According to what I read, the important things or contacts to resolder are the ones opposite these two, these two, these four, the relays, there's two here, one here. Those are really apparently the important points to resolder, so that those are all these big ones basically, and then a lot of these smaller ones you should look, the ones I pointed out, as well as all the contacts of these black little thingamajiggies. As I told you in the beginning, I am not an expert, so I do not know the name of these components, but according to my research, those are the ones that have bad contacts. Now, this gel layer that was on here, it did serve a purpose, which is to dampen any vibrations that are caused by the machine turning. These vibrations could break or damage the components of the motherboard, and so that's why Samsung decided to encase it in this gel. The gel we just removed on the other side. Now, I don't have a gel like this. If you do, more power to you, then you can replace it with something resembling the original. If you don't, you'll have to be creative like we are going to be. And here we see my lovely assistant, who is cutting out little circles of foam, which we will use to make kind of cushions for the screws that hold the housing of the motherboard to the housing of the washing machine, to the body of the washing machine. And I have good faith that this will work. If it doesn't, I will post an update to this video and warn you not to follow my stupid advice. So we connected all the connectors back how they were in the beginning. We have attached the motherboard housing to the washing machine body. Between the housing and the body, we put these little homemade foam rubber kind of shock absorbers, let's say. I hope this will provide enough dampening. The thing does seem to be stuck rather well, especially when we put this cover back on. I believe it will turn the whole thing rigid enough. After that short intermezzo where we used four hands to attach this thing back on, it's back on, so that's good news. Now we're just gonna cover this thing up again with the lid, and then I believe it's time for a little test run to see how my soldering, if the soldering helped the problem or made it only worse. So let's see. So, it is now 3 days after the reassembly of the machine. As you could see in the previous clip, the machine successfully completes the programs now. We had a lot of or a lot of washing up to catch up to, and we have been doing that these past few days. So she's been doing a lot of programs, all without any issues, all without any problem. So it seems that the repair was successful, and all in all, it was not too complicated, not too easy. I was more nervous before I started, nervous about the whole thing, than while doing it. So if you have any doubts, and if you have a soldering iron, put away your doubts, just go for it, just try it. And I hope this video could take you over the edge and assist you and provide you with some useful information.
In the crossfire.